Hi, and welcome back again to the Geneva Blue studio. Um, so Baselworld, eh? Looks like it's pretty much cactused. It's been in the news, the watch news, about Patek and Rolex leaving. Oh, Rolex and Tudors, their puppy that'll follow them, and Chanel and Chopard, um, all leaving Baselworld, and they're the big ones that were sort of still there, that were keeping it going after the Swatch Group left. And we not it's not been confirmed that the whole thing's cancelled next year. This year, of course, it was cancelled because of the coronavirus, and it was pushed back to next year. And a lot of people weren't happy about that, how they handled it. Basically, the organisers of Baselworld, and basically keeping their money. It's a very, very, very expensive outlay for these brands. Any brand that's in Baselworld, really, especially the big ones, though. And so, Rolex decided to pull a pin along with Patek and these other brands, which leaves the biggest ones left, the LVMH brands, Zenith, Hublot, primarily. They're the big ones in Hall 1. They were right at the front, just after Patek. Um, so, I'm not really sure whether we'll be there next year or what's going on. We'll find out in the next few weeks, I guess. Well, the Swiss are quite slow in some ways, so it could be the next few months. But whether or not we go to Baselworld next year remains to be seen. January doesn't really suit me. I don't like the cold. That's why I live in Perth. And January sort of stinks a bit as a month in Switzerland, unless you're up at the snow. Um, so it'll probably be more likely the when I go over there next year, it'll probably be more likely lined up with the Geneva shows now, and who knows what else will develop. There's the with Watches and Wonders, they call SHH now, and they've decided to put on a parallel show, another show in Geneva at the same time, with Patek and Rolex and there's other brands. So we'll wait and see how that works, and I'm pretty sure other brands will jump ship as well, to go to Geneva, and that will be more so in spring, a couple of months later, April, I think it is. So I have been going on about how I was going to go to Basel, and obviously that was squashed, and the tickets have been postponed to probably later on this year, or most likely early next year. Anyway, that's Basel. Pretty much screwed, really, I think. But they bought it on themselves. You can read all about it. I'm not going to repeat everything that's been said. There's a lot of press about that online. I'm going to keep going through my little list of pronunciation of Swiss watch brands. Just the S's this time today. And I'll start at Schwarz Etienne. Schwarz Etienne is Schwarz is German, Etienne French as a name. Started by a husband and wife. I think it's their surnames of each one of them. Etienne is French, but Schwarz, that's German. Anyway, 1902, that's been around a long time. I think they've done a lot of watches that seem to be copies of other designs of other brands, to me anyway. You got the watches that look like Blancpain, some look like Franck Muller, some that look like more like Daytona. So they're basically, and over the years I've seen a lot of that, and I've sort of ignored the brand because of that. It seemed like they were sort of just a copycat brand. But now they're starting to do some nice stuff. They have great movements. They're starting to do movements for third parties, like the Ming, for example. Their high-end Mings, the movements are done by Schwarz Etienne. Some nice stuff. I don't know. I don't really know the company that well, but that's how you'd say it anyway. Schwarz Etienne. Spic Marine. Spic Marine's is an English name. It's Peter Spic Marine, and that's how he says it. I've worked with him for a while. I know him quite well, Peter. So that's Spic Marine. They're great watches. Peter left that company, left the brand, so they're not quite the same since. Have mean a little bit less to me, really. But I have a Spic Marine. It's a cool watch. One of the Piccadilly ones. Then we got the Squale watches, which is one of the brands I think I spoke about that way back at the start. It's one of the brands I bring into Australia. I'll talk more on those in a minute. We've got the Swatch Group. Everyone knows about them. Omega, there's a Tissot, Longines. There's a whole bunch of brands. There's about 15 brands under the Swatch group, including the Swatch and Flick Flack watches at the entry level. Then I've got Starpaneva. Stepan Sarpaneva. He's a Finnish guy, and I don't know really how that's added in Finnish. Starpaneva or something like that. That's not a French word. And then he also has SUF, Starpaneva Uranfabrik or something or other, which is sort of his cheaper brand. Still awesome watches. I have one of those I talked about a while ago. And then I've got Zinn, which is Sin, Sinn, which is actually, the Germans. Well, it's a German word. That's not French. I don't care. But it's they just pronounce it Zinn. It's not really a Zinn, but it's Zinn. It's of a soft Z. So that's the S's basically. Now I'll go back to Squale because I have one on. That's why I didn't do a wrist check earlier. This is the one I'm wearing right now. It's a Squalematic. It's called Squale. It's Squale. It's an Italian word. Well, it's sort of, there's a French N word, Italian words like that. But yeah, it's well, it's owned by the Italians now, but that's sort of by the by. It was a Swiss brand which started out as Von Buren watches, who made cases. Now this is the Squalematic, which is 600 meter water resistance. It's a bit in your face, this particular color. I call it it's a real Perth watch. It's a real tropical blue. It's a beautiful color actually. It changes quite a bit in different light. I've got a couple of, I've sold a few of these. One of their best sellers as far as I'm concerned here, and I still have one of these for sale. Not this one, another one. But that's then, just to give you an idea. Von Buren made cases for a lot of brands, about 20 brands, dive watch brands. Doxa, there was a whole Tags, Zinn, what I just talked about, and Blancpain. Blancpain is probably the highest end brand that these days, that used to have cases made by Squale. So I've got another one here, and I'll show you this because this one's for sale as well. This is sort of a limited edition green dial one, 1521. It's called. It's a model. I've actually got this on sale a little bit cheaper than it should be because it's been worn a couple of days. Basically, it's brand new, warranted, everything. But check out the website, and I'm selling that for actually less than what's on the website. I have to need to change that for $1,500. It's Aussie dollars. It's a watch which this is the exact case which was used on the Blancpain 50 fathoms Bund, or what they would have said, watch in the 70s that they made for a military application. For some, this was, and it had Blancpain written at the top, and this Squale at the bottom, the Squale fish or dogfish or shark at the bottom on that dial as well, with Blancpain 50 fathoms. So that's kind of a rare watch. It had a bezel very similar to this, but a plain black bezel with that with the marker, the pip at the top, the marker in luminous material, and that case was made by Squale. Made in the same factory as these guys. Squale have got a bit of a bad rap because they're basically not great at marketing, and someone was coming out saying they were doing Chinese cases. They're made in China, the cases, which they could be these days for a watch this price. But the quality control, that's no different to a lot of Swiss brands having cases and different components made in China. And the quality control is right up there. So for me, it's, if you want a value for money, the made in Swiss thing is not necessarily a massive advantage. Obviously some people like it just because they don't want a Chinese made case. But that's the two watches. This is exactly, this green watch is exactly the same dimensions as the Blancpain, and the drawing for that, I'm guarantee, well, I can't guarantee because I haven't seen the drawings, but I'm speculating that it's exactly the same drawing as it was for the Blancpain case. Basically, even the case back, you can find Blancpain 50 Fathoms Bund, if you search up online. There's one that was at Craft and Tailored recently. There's an article about it on Hodinkee where you've got photos on the Craft and Tailored one anyway, of the watch, and the back is exactly the same. The case is exactly the same. Even the dial is resembles very much the Squale one. Squale. In French, it's a Squale. Italian, I don't know how they say it over there. Anyway, so that's Squale, and I've still got those available. I was going to meet them at Baselworld. I'll be saying that a lot, I think, in the next few months. But anyway, and that's the S's on my little list. I'm wearing this. I put this on. I happened to be doing some stuff earlier, and I actually had just a message from a friend, saying he wanted a loupe. And it just happens that this week I received a box from Bergeon, an order from Bergeon, where I've got quite a few loupes now. I've got a new batch of loupes. These number 4 loupes. I've also got the loupe holder, which can be obviously customized or matched to your head basically. This one works fine for me. I set it up there. I look at my stuff. I put it up there. Obviously, watchmakers do that all the time. You won't need to have it up there, but it's kind of handy to have it stuck on your eye if you haven't got the knack of putting a loupe in your eye and sort of holding it there, which is not that hard, but I mean it takes a bit of getting used to, and some people's eyes don't work for it. So the holder is nice to have. So a loupe holder. I've got a bunch of tweezers as well, those special spring bar tweezers for Rolex and stuff, and some basic tweezers. You can see all that on the website. Actually, a couple of items aren't on the website yet, but keep an eye out for those. And that's about it. I've got a massive Easter egg, and I hope you all had a happy Easter. I bought this egg as a prop to take some photos of watches, and I didn't do it, so now I'm going to eat it, basically. That's going to be my lunch today, I'd say. What else? Yeah, go check out the podcasts. Been doing a couple more podcasts with Fifth Wrist Radio, and you can find them on your general podcast listening platforms, such as Spotify or Anchor, whatever. The watch regulator, Alex, my co-host on the Rob and the Regulator show. Go and check that out. It's a bit of a laugh sometimes. We've had a couple of cool guests on recently. We've got a few more in the pipeline. We've got some really, really interesting guests coming up. Check the podcast, check my website, check those Squale watches on the website, and also have some pre-owned stuff on the website, obviously, and those Bergeon tools. www.genevablue.com.au. And that's it for me for today. Thank you very much. See ya.